What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the podcast. Got old Hank Hill here. We're gonna do some of this politicking, some of this anonymous politicking. We're gonna start out with the Texas border, and then we will finish up with the Hank Hill. That's me. We're gonna finish up the Alex Jones debacle. The fraudness that Alex Jones has put out. And I used to watch Alex Jones quite a bit. I used to support his stuff a lot until I started researching what he was talking about and found that most of the time he's just stirring people up. And we're going to get into that. I have proof of that. That's going to come out at the end of this show. But let's jump off into the first part. First part's going to be the Texas border. What's really going on at the Texas border? I mean, you got Greg Abbott. He's in a show off with the federal government, or they're putting on a show like they're in a show off against each other. I believe it's all a scam. I believe it's all BS. Greg Abbott's not doing a whole lot to stop the people from coming across the border, and I'm going to prove that to you right here. All right. Greg Abbott sent the National Guard, Texas National Guard, to go take over Shelby Park, okay? Shelby Park is 47 acres. 47 acres. That's where all of the media is. That's where all of the Texas National Guard are, right there in little 47-acre park. The Texas-Mexico border is 1,254 miles long. All right. I have a dear friend of mine that lives down in the valley. I'm from South Texas myself, and I can tell you that the flow of illegal immigration coming across the border hasn't even slowed down. It may have in that one spot where they have all the media and they have the razor wire up and they've taken over that little park. It may have in that one little spot, but it hasn't anywhere else. A friend of mine has cameras up on her land, and there is still a trail of people coming from Mexico across her land every day and every night. It hasn't slowed down. It hadn't even missed a beat. Okay, so that's why I think it's all a scam, okay? Just like these other governors, most of them being Republican, I believe all of them are Republican, that have sent help to Texas down there to go to this little park. I believe it's all just to sway voters. They're trying to make it seem as if they're doing something. The federal government's making it seem as if they got a problem with it and Texas can't do that, but they're not really worried about it. It's a 47-acre park. I mean, what is that, a half mile of border that they're actually working on? That they've got soldiers down there at a half mile of border, like that's stopping the mass amounts of people. What about the rest of the border? I mean, come on, people, quit falling for this stuff, man. We really got to quit falling for this crap. Now, my biggest question throughout this whole ordeal is, why does the federal government want these people crossing the border? They've changed the name of them to try to make them more socially acceptable. They call them migrants now. They're not migrants. They're illegal aliens. That's what they are now. That's what they were 5 years ago. That's what they've always been. They're entering the country illegally. They're illegal aliens, illegal immigrants, whichever way you want to word it there. Calling them migrants and they're seeking asylum and all that BS is just to sway the public. It just goes to show how easy the public is to manipulate. I believe, and that's just my opinion, I believe the Democrats have lost favor with the majority of Americans. So they put us to the side, and now they're importing new voters. I believe that's part of what's happening here. I believe that's a small part of what's happening here. I believe there's also a bigger plan that can go along with this, okay? Now, they have no idea how many known terrorists have made it across our border. I've seen estimates as high as 170,000 or something like that. But they have no idea. They don't know how many have come across our border. We don't know how many weapons have come across our border. We don't know if any viruses or anything like that have come across our border. These people, we don't know what viruses they may be infected with. You got to remember that in a lot of these countries, they have sicknesses that we don't have here. They have illnesses that we don't have here. And they're just over here catch and release walking freely amongst us. So I believe all that stuff's going to come to pass. Now, here's something else that could very well come to pass. All right. If you have a mass amount of terrorist attacks in the country, you saw what happened after 9/11. They're going to shut this country down. They may very well impose martial law. All right. Now, if they impose martial law, you can look this stuff up. I'll be putting some information up here across the screen. They can take all our rights from us. That's what martial law is. Martial law is they strip your rights from you. The military comes in and takes over. They can take our guns. They could lock us down. You know, they could do everything in the world to us that we have protection against right now under the Constitution. Because none of our constitutional rights matter under martial law. It's the one time in the country that they can put a stop to our rights. And as you know, with a lot of these Democrats, power has just corrupted them so much that they don't believe in us having rights anymore. They've been bluntly obvious about it over the last few years. So that may very well could be a possibility, which I think is absolutely sick. If they are allowing terrorists to enter the country knowing that we're going to have terrorist attacks, which would cause the death of Americans for their own political gain, you don't get much sicker than that. And the entire country should be up in arms about that. I mean, that is absolutely grotesque. All right, now we're going to get into this Alex Jones thing, okay? He recently put a TikTok that's creating a false narrative. It's bullshit, basically. And it's someone else's TikTok, but he shared it, he talked about it, and I'm going to play that clip right here, and then we'll discuss it.
You ask Alexa, as of today, Alexa, what's going to happen with the 2024 election? And it says there will be no election. And I've had people at the gas station 2 days ago. I got a bunch of text messages and calls. And my wife asked me about it because her friends and people are asking her. And we had some friends over the house last night. They were asking me about it. So the buzz is out there that there won't be a 2024 election. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm saying we're not in normal situation anymore. We're not in Kansas, as they say, anymore. Sure, this would never work. Let's play the clip I just talked about with Alexa, where the man asked the machine yesterday, what's happening with the 2024 election?
Hey, want to hear some? Alexa, who will win the next American election?
The 2024 American election will not take place. There will be no winner. War Powers Resolution of 1973 or the War Powers Act will be invoked by the act of war with Russia and China. Once an invoked, the standing party will retain and remain in power.
You ask Alexa as of...
All right, as y'all saw, this man plays a clip where he asks Alexa about the election, and then Alexa mentions the 1973 Wars Act, all right? Now, that act was imposed on November the 7th of 1973, I believe. And what absolutely amazes me is nobody goes and looks this stuff up, okay? And Alex Jones, being the conspiracy theorist, political person that he is, should know, and probably does know, that clip is BS. But he's feeding on his viewers, and he's feeding on the public, he's feeding on you and me, okay? And he's a fraud because he knows very well what that means. That 1973 Wars Act does not stop an election. Has nothing to do with an election. Do you understand what that 1973 Act is? It keeps the president from entering a war without going through Congress. That's what that is. Go look it up. It created a due process to entering war. The president can't just stand up and say, okay, we're going to war. That's what that is. That's what that act was. It has nothing to do with an election. The word election's not even mentioned in that whole entire amendment. I mean, go check it out, people. Don't fall for this stuff so much. And Alex Jones, he should know better. And with everything we're going through in this country, he should not be online pushing a narrative that's creating more panic and more people to be upset, more conspiracy theories. And trust me, I'm big on conspiracy theories. I love them myself. I get into them myself. Y'all have heard me talk about them right here. And I have a few of my own. But this is just total BS. Not only that, but you can program, and I'll put that up right here. You can program to Alexa to respond in any way you want Alexa to respond. All right. I don't have an Alexa here. I don't keep stuff like that. I don't really need it. I mean, I got a phone. It does everything that Alexa would do. So don't really need another device to waste money on. But the 1973 Wars Act does not do what they're claiming it does. And Alex Jones knows better. He's a fraud. He's a fake. He's a phony. And he's just trying to rile you up. Anyway, that's it for this show. Y'all take care. Stay safe. And by all means, think for yourself.